This video is going to cover the topic of simple probability. Be sure the date and topic are at the top of the page. The essential question is a little bit long, but make sure you have it all here at the top. How do we determine the probability of an event occurring when there are multiple outcomes, and what vocabulary do we need? So we're going to talk a little bit more about probability in this video, and I'm going to start by drawing a bag of marbles. This bag has a variety of colors. I'm going to go ahead and draw some yellow, red, blue, and green marbles. If you have colors available, it would help for you to be able to do that with color or mark it somehow so you know that these are different types of marbles. So you can see from my drawing that there are 3 yellow, 2 red, 2 blue, and 1 green marble. Our task is to talk about the probability of picking a yellow marble. And mathematically, I'm going to write that as probability of getting yellow. Right? That's how I want to kind of keep track of it. And that's where I'm going to record it once I figure this out. To do this, we first need to determine all the possible outcomes. So this is a vocabulary term we want to hear, right? Outcomes. So our outcomes are the events that could happen. I've gone ahead and recorded that as a vocabulary term. And so looking at this example, I want to list all the possible things that could happen when I put my hand in this jar or bag of marbles. You might think that there are 4 outcomes, right? There's yellow, red, green, and blue, right? So maybe you're looking at this and thinking, oh, there are 4 choices. But that is not the case. I'm going to go ahead and write that, but cross it out. There are not 4 possible outcomes, right? In fact, if I put my hand in the bag, right, there are a whole bunch of marbles in there, right? There are 8 marbles. I could pull out the following. I could pull out a yellow, or a yellow, a blue or a blue, a red or a red, or green, right? So there are actually a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different marbles I could choose from. So going up here to my probability of yellow, right, I need to figure out how many possible outcomes there are. There are a total of 8 different outcomes. So I'm going to go ahead and put that down here, right? This represents my sample space. That's another vocab term I'm going to mark here. The sample space refers to all the different options that I have here, all the different outcomes. So I actually have 8, right? But I want to choose just yellow, which is one color. So you might be thinking, okay, there's one way to get this. So maybe I should put a 1 right here, right? But that's not actually the case. I'm going to take that off. It's not that there is 1 yellow, right? I have 3 different yellows here. Let me circle that. I have 1, 2, 3 different ways that I could get this. These 3, I'm going to put that right up here on top. These 3 all satisfy my event or meet my constraints. That's another term. So anything that I choose, right, if I'm putting my hand in the bag or jar, if I choose a marble and it is yellow and it's what I want, we call that satisfying, or sometimes you'll hear people say that meets the constraints of my experiment, right? That's what I want. So that's a term you'll also want to be familiar with. Okay? And that, of course, is my numerator up here. So now that I know that the probability of getting yellow is 3 out of 8. Right? For every 8 marbles in there, perhaps 3 of them are yellow, so I have a 3/8 chance of pulling out a yellow marble. So this was a very quick little video, and it just covered the idea of finding probability of something occurring when there's lots of different outcomes, right? We could have had blue, we could have had red, we could have had green. We were looking in this case for just yellow, and it also covered some important vocabulary. So make sure you have in your vocabulary outcomes, sample space, and this concept of satisfying or meeting the constraints of our experiment. Be sure to have your notes. It's a very short page here. Make sure you have all the notes recorded and bring those into class, and we'll be able to work with it together.